I call the honourable member for Banks.
Well, thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Well, Deputy Speaker, the people of Banks elected me because they wanted to see change in the way that the government is run. And coming up to the one-year anniversary of that very important change, I thought it would be useful to reflect on the important changes that we've seen. So people in Banks, they wanted to see the carbon tax go. They wanted us to get the borders under control. They wanted us to address the extraordinary legacy of debt and deficit and economic mismanagement of the previous government. And they also, Deputy Speaker, wanted us to build the roads that we so desperately need, like the West Connects in my own electorate. And, Deputy Speaker, we're delivering on all of those commitments. The carbon tax is gone, of course. There's been one unauthorised boat arrival in the nation this year, leading to important humanitarian and economic benefits. The budget mess is being addressed. It's a big job, but we've started that task, Deputy Speaker. And the roads are being delivered. The West Connects in my electorate will save more than 20 minutes for the average person driving to work in peak hour, and that's a very big deal, Deputy Speaker. We've also closed free trade agreements with Japan and Korea, and we're working on a very big one, of course, with China under the experienced stewardship of the Minister for Trade. And we've also declared war on bureaucratic paralysis. We've made some tough calls. We've finally said, let's build Western Sydney an airport that it so desperately needs. We've said that companies should be financed through profits, not taxpayer subsidies. And we've approved projects through environmental projects worth literally hundreds of billions of dollars and tens of thousands of jobs. So it's a very impressive record of delivering on commitments, Deputy Speaker. But the contrast that we see on the other side is really quite striking, because over there we see mediocrity, Deputy Speaker, in thought and deed. It's an opposition that is reactive, shallow and increasingly irrelevant. Mired in negativity and unable to raise beyond the discredited thinking of the 1970s. Can't get behind the reform legacy of their own government in the 80s and 90s through Hawke and Keating, or even the ideas of their more thoughtful members, like the well-known intellectual and pamphleteer, the member for Fraser, Deputy Speaker. Their solution to every single problem can be summarised in 3 words: spend more money. Now, that's a very, very simple solution, but it's manifestly a failure, Deputy Speaker. And they point to OECD debt levels like they're a good thing, as if we want to join the moribund economies, many of which are in the OECD, that are so burdened by huge levels of debt and massive levels of unemployment. They purport to care about debt and deficit, Deputy Speaker, but there's a big logical problem with that they haven't passed a surplus or delivered a surplus budget since 1989, which is a very long time ago, Deputy Speaker. And they cling to the GFC like some sort of economic life raft to explain away all problems. But, you know, the GFC doesn't make up for the economic vandalism of the NBN or for sending cheques to dead people. They're speaking, I've noticed, Deputy Speaker, increasingly to themselves, trying to outdo one another with stinging social media critiques of government policy. You see them in question time, Deputy Speaker, heads down, thumbs flying, tweeting to the converted. Now, we deliver government with a purpose. They delivered government by press release. We deliver outcomes. They delivered more announcements than the births, deaths and marriages page. Now, we care about small business, Deputy Speaker. They care about small unions. We're focused on the long-term future of the nation, like all governments should be. They're focused on this afternoon's edition of PM Agenda. Now, infrastructure, Deputy Speaker, we care about the practical projects, things like building the West Connects in Banks, and they are focused on confused rationalisations for failed infrastructure policies. Now, Deputy Speaker, the government is an enormous organisation. Its revenue is 13 times that of Telstra. to put it in perspective. We have immense responsibilities. It's a serious business, and this government is delivering serious outcomes.
Order being 8.